Alright, so we did our review, so we start moving forward today. So today what we're going to do is move away from plotting points for a moment. Instead, what we're going to do is look at a skill that will be necessary next week. This lesson is going to introduce us to creating and completing ordered pairs. The process is simple as long as you remember that ordered pairs are x, comma, y. This means that you'll first have to learn how to convert into an ordered pair. So some questions that you're going to start off with are going to say create an ordered pair with an x value of 75 and a y value of 41. So they're going to give you the x and they're going to give you the y. They just want you to put it in an ordered pair, which seems very simple, but trust me when I say people have issues with this because, and it's not that you don't have issues with this, but when we start to make ordered pairs, people forget that x simply goes first and y simply goes second. And that's it. Because you're also going to see some where you have to be careful, create an ordered pair with a y value of 91 and an x value of negative 23. So that means that 91 doesn't go first because that's y. You got to start with x. So my x value is negative 23, my y value is 91, and there we go. So that's all you're going to do to start that homework assignment. But there is more. In the examples above, the x and y values were given. This made it easier to create an ordered pair. In your upcoming algebra experience, it's important that you can use one value to find the other. The process is not tough yet. So it actually doesn't get tough. It just requires more steps that you'll be trained to use. So let's look at the questions that you're going to see today and then just go ahead and move to it again. This isn't tough as long as you use what you've been trained to do, which you have been trained to do this. Just make sure you use it. It says, use the equation below to create an ordered pair with an x value of 18. That's important. You will be required to show your steps on MathXL. So again, I will tell you like I tell other people, copy this down and then use this to fill in your boxes because what I am putting down, this is exactly like MathXL boxes. I don't think some people listen, so I had to write it. This is exactly like MathXL boxes. So please, after you send that email and you say, I don't get this stuff, you got to get it because it's really not that bad. You simply write or type what I'm putting down in these lines. So the questions here, you want an x value of 18. So what you're going to do first is substitute 18 for x. So you put y equals 13, parentheses, 18 minus 54. Then you use the order of operations. That's multiplication and subtraction. Multiplication goes first, so we do 13 times 18. Which gives me 234, so it'll be y equals 234 minus 54, and then you do 234 minus 54. Most calculators, if this is the number that you just got, you can usually hit minus and it will kind of carry that answer over. It's not that answer, it's this one right here because I actually subtracted 54 twice. So it's y equals 180. Now, you want your ordered pair. So your ordered pair is going to be x, comma, y. So now you have to research. And again, this is where people think it gets tough, but it really doesn't. You just have to slow down. X, comma, y. What is x? We'll read the information. That's y, so I don't want y. I want x. And notice x was 18, so it's 18, comma, y, which is 180. That's it. So you used 18, you plugged it in, you found a y, so you put 18 as your first number because that was x. You put 180 as your second number because that was y. Simple stuff. You just got to make sure, again, that you write it, that you practice it, and that you don't just kind of sit here and not pay attention to what's going on because, again, that just doesn't work either. So, again, use the equation below to create an ordered pair with an x value of 23. You'll be required to show your steps on MathXL again. So, again, this tells me my x value is 23, so that's my x. So I take the 23 and I put it in right here. Y equals 17 times 23 plus 36. And yes, I'm using big numbers on purpose so that you can't just eyeball it. You have to actually show the work. Multiplication, addition. Multiplication goes first, so 17 times 23, if I could type, is 391. Now I need to do 391. Y goes second, and it tells me y. And that means I can substitute 29 for x. I then do 11 times 29, which is, I should know this, 29, 29. There is a trick for adding whenever you multiply by a two-digit number by 11. And this is actually going to be tougher, but what you do is you take that two-digit number and you split it. And then you add the two numbers, which makes 11. and that's what goes in the middle. So this one would go here, so this one adds, making 319. Should be 319. There it is. So y equals 319 minus 98, which should be 220? $221. That's right, because I added 1 to make the 9. Anyway, so y equals 221. And so from there, again, what you do is you take your x, you take your y, and you put them in ordered pair mode. So 29, comma, 2, 2, 1. And there you go. All right. In the end, just again, be sure to take your time. This material is within your reach, but you must put a few steps together. So first thing, you're being asked to substitute for variables with the parentheses. I've taught you how to do that before. You know how to do that. That's what we've done. Okay. Number 2, we're using the order of operations with steps. If you think about order of operations, I've been making you show your steps all year, and that's probably why some of you don't like it, is because I make you show all the steps. But again, you've done that. And then translate two numbers into an ordered pair. Well, that was all the way back to this part, which is where we had our x value and y value. So the process itself does have multiple steps, but it's stuff that you've been taught to do. So all these steps are simple, but this is one of the first times you're being expected to compile or put a whole bunch of multiple processes together in one question. Just remember this, and I thought about this the other day as I was kind of looking at my wife teaching her third grade or first grade class. Algebra and math are not the same. You may not know all your math facts, and again, some of you think you're bad at algebra because you don't know your math facts, but algebra does not care about whether you know your math facts. All right? You need to know something. You need to have a way to get the answer. You need to know how to figure out what 11 times 21 is, whether you know it or don't know it. But the thing is, you at least have to care about doing 11 times 21 to find the answer of 231. So this is not that. This is not 15 times 4, 95 minus 46, 395 divided by 11. This is, can you think, can you solve problems? All right? And for the most part, because people are worried about this and they give up on that, they say, I can't think and I can't solve problems. But I mean, you do it all the time. You have iPhones. You have all these things that you fix all the time. You're smart enough to do it, but you just make the excuse because it's a little tough, because other people tell you math is hard. It's really not hard. This is not math. This is algebra. But the older you get, the more thinking problems will require. But you will be trained along the way, kind of like I said here. The problem got tough, but the steps that we're doing are steps that you should know how to do. And that's why you want to make sure you pay attention early in your classes, because if you don't pay attention early, then you didn't learn how to substitute with parentheses, and you didn't learn how to use the order of operations with steps, and you didn't learn how to do that, and that's where it is. It's not that this process is tough, it's that you failed when you did that, you failed when you did that, and you failed when you did that. And by failed, I mean you didn't even try, because they're not hard processes to learn. So don't be intimidated. Again, accept the challenge, because I know you're intelligent enough to get this done. Again, I work extremely tough to design the information in a way that is presentable, not because you can't get the material the way it is, but because I know a lot of your perspectives is, I can't do this, and so I want to kind of fight against that, because once you start to realize you can do it, this really becomes a very easy thing. Doesn't mean the math becomes easy or algebra becomes easy, because the problems get tougher, but it doesn't mean that it's out of reach. There's a difference between tough and impossible. Impossible would be jumping up 900 feet to the top of a building. Tough would be high jumping 5 feet on track and field, which means you could actually train yourself to get that. Anyway, I'm just talking a lot. The assignment is a key element of next week's work, so please make sure you work hard to get a grasp, because if you do not understand this for next week, there is no way you're going to be able to do that work. So, again, good luck. Have a good day.